What's going on, everyone? It's Wack here. Welcome you back for week 4 of the SDS. Today we're playing against Anting, coach of the New Jersey Durants. She brought to us today Latios, Toxicity, Persian Alola, Mega Aggron, Landers Incarnate with Sheer Force, and Sylveon. In the back she had Thwackey, Gourgeist, Infernape, and Milotic. She might have had another mon. Oh, Dottler. Dottler's what I'm trying to think of. Um, I brought Torrentee, Hydreigon, Deoxys Defense, Vaporeon, Marowak, and Heliolisk. Um, I don't really want to get into their sets too much, so we can kind of get into the match. Oh, I want to try a new style where I explain more of what's going on, like in the match, instead of like trying to catch up to what's actually going on. So I'll be doing a little bit more pausing and explaining my thoughts. So let's go ahead. I believe we're ready. The music on. Good. Um, Starting off, I figured Torn T was the fastest mon in both matchups, which honestly is very rare for me to have the fastest mon in both matchups. So I figured it would actually be a decent lead here, unless she led like Scarf Toxicity or like Trick Scarf Latios. Like I honestly wouldn't be too mad if it was like Trick Scarf Latios tricking Scarf onto my Torn. At least it wouldn't be my like Deoxys or my Vaporeon. So yeah, we got that. Toxicity is probably not faster than us. Like, she'd have to run like Timid Specs, and I just don't think she'd run that. Persian definitely isn't faster, although I actually don't know if I outsped Persian with my EVs. I think I went for Infernape, but I wasn't really too scared of what Persian could do. I guess it could do like switcheroo shenanigans. I don't think that's what Persian really does. She also has Mega Aggron. I figured I could just U-turn on that. Lando, I could at least scout the set. If it's like Scarf Rock Slide, I don't think Scarf Rock Slide would KO. But it probably does like way too much for me to actually be able to use Torn again, but yeah. And then she has the Sylveon, which I can like knock off, U-turn, and Hurricane it. So I wasn't really too scared of Sylveon this matchup. Honestly, Sylveon had a really bad matchup here because I had like sure I have Hydreigon, and I guess that's a good enough reason to bring Sylveon, especially when your Dragon type is part Psychic, so I could use either of my stabs to beat Latios if I'm Scarfed at least, which she isn't when you find out. So yeah, so I lead Torn here. She actually decides to lead the Aggron, which is fair enough. So she decides to Mega Evolve. I U-turn. I go into Deoxys Defense because Deoxys Defense was kind of built to scout like anything she would do, like Curse. Well, it's not really built too much to take on Curse set, but Aggron doesn't really have a high HP stat, so I figured I was kind of fine if she decided to Curse. But she decides to set up an iron defense for I don't know why. And then she starts heavy slamming me, and I'm like, well, it's not doing too much. I'm pretty safe from crits too, as long as I can keep healthy. And she has to switch out and go into her Sylveon, which is fair enough. I figured the Sylveon, like, the worst it could be is like Specs Hyper Voice. So I figured I could actually get the free switch into Marowak, and I honestly did not think she'd go back into Aggron to Wish Pass. So what I did there is I got up my rocks because I honestly figured she'd go into something that already has like full HP anyways. And like, sure, I could have clicked the button, but I also figured getting up rocks is very good. You'll find out why, like, probably a few turns. So I go back into Deoxys because I figured the Aggron honestly just can't do anything to me, which is correct. I actually don't know if this Aggron was like running Crunch or anything. I don't think it was. because as you can see, all she's clicking is Heavy Slam, which is actually doing quite a bit to me. And I figured here, since I have Deoxysyn, and honestly, I'm not too scared of the Latios, I want to get a Toxic off, and of course she tricks the Choice Specs on me, which kind of sucks. So that means Deoxys is going to be Choice Locked in Recover, Nightshade, Toxic, or Spikes. I don't think I actually clicked Spikes in this battle, I don't remember. So I go into Vaporeon, as I know Latios really can't do anything to Vaporeon anymore, and I can just kind of wish stall the Latios at this point, and I can actually wish stall a few things. So I decided to just roar because I figured, well, I'm gonna get my wish back. Sylveon really can't do too much. I want to scout the Persian bit, so I protected. It turns out all it really was just roar, and honestly, I was like, well, what if I just roared again? I'm sorry, not roar, parting shot. So I figured, why don't I just like keep roaring, and at least her team will be worn down by the rocks, because none of her mons are running boots from all I can see. She doesn't really have any boots mon. She doesn't really have removal either, because her removal is literally just Latios and Lando. Neither of them really want to run it either, so like getting a rocks and spikes is like very free against this team. It's also very unfortunate I didn't kill the Latios there. I didn't really want to risk her going into Aggron, although at that point I should have just Shadow Boned into like Fire Punch. I think would have just killed Aggron, but like whatever. So at this point we're just playing a game where Vaporeon sits in and just like roars everything. I think at a certain point, is it here? Yes, she finally decides to show her Toxtricity, which showing that it's amped means that it has shift gear. And honestly, the thing with Toxtricity is that if you're gonna use the low key form, you're kind of just like flexing on your opponent that you don't really care that it's just like specs, because amped can't run shift gear. So here I actually went to Marowak because Marowak is running Lightning Rod this week, so really the only way Toxtricity is gonna hit me super effectively is if it's like Snarl or Hex, and I didn't really expect her to run Snarl or Snarl or Hex, because it gives me like a free switch in depending on the damage into Hydreigon and just click a button. Although likely she just goes Sylveon, which is like healthy enough to take on a Hydreigon if I'm not clicking a Flash Cannon, for example. So she's actually shift gear, and I don't know why she revealed it immediately, because Gunk Shot did jack shit, and Shadow Bone just killed it. So now she goes into Lando, and I think actually here she decided to Gravity, yeah, which is very strange. I should have honestly just sacked off the Marowak so I can get a free switch in. So she's actually just kind of spamming Earth Power, and I figured I really can't take on too many Earth Powers. But I figured going into Vaporeon without the Rocks up was pretty safe here. And then if she Earth Powers, I can just protect and get Leftovers Recovery, as long as she didn't crit me at any point. I think if she crit me, it was kind of over. Because she is she's at the +2 speed. So she decides to go into Sylveon, because I think she figured at that point it's not worth staying in Lando and just like spamming Recover. So really at this point there's not much she can do, because I'm just gonna Roar spam. Vaporeon walls everything left. Aggron should die to 2 Scalds. She actually gets the Draco crit, which is funny, but it honestly just doesn't matter. So I just keep roaring because like I'm not really scared of anything, and then Anting just decides to forfeit, which I'm not complaining about. It means a free 6-0. When someone forfeits in my league, I think in any league, I think the rest of the kills kind of just go towards whoever's last in the field. I mean, if you look at her mons, like the Aggron is pretty low. She only has 4 heavy slams left because of pressure Deoxys. Um, Persian really isn't doing much to my team. Latios can't break Vaporeon before it dies to like toxic damage. Lando dies to a Scald if it gets healthy enough. And if it doesn't rock polish, then Helios kills it with Surf. And I'm pretty sure this set also kind of loses to Torn, because I'm pretty sure I'd be pretty surprised if Torn actually doesn't take what's it called? If it actually doesn't take something like an Earth Power, which it should. Even Hydreigon is kind of built to take on Landorus as long as it's not U-turn spamming, because like as long as it's not clicking Gravity, Earth Power is not touching it. So yeah, and plus I had I could easily Wish Pass into Marowak on the Sylveon and just click Shadow Bone or like Flare Blitz. I think I had Flare Blitz, or did I have Poltergeist? I had Poltergeist. I decided to run Shadow Bone and Poltergeist because in case she ran like no item, I didn't really want to rely on Poltergeist hitting as well, especially when Shadow Bone was kind of enough. And while Anting did have my Lodic, I really wasn't too scared of it because there wasn't really much it could do to Vaporeon into like Heliolisk. I guess it could click Toxic, but even then, I think the plan would be like to go Torn T and like Hurricane until it's confused, and then U-turn into Heliolisk, because like Heliolisk was really good in this matchup because it had enough coverage to just kill everything except for the Aggron and the Toxtricity, I think. Although Toxtricity didn't really want to take like a Specs Hyper Voice if I was running it, which I don't think I was. I don't really remember because Vaporeon and Deoxys just did all the work. Like if you can tell, like Marowak clicked a few buttons, Torn clicked U-turn, Heliolisk and Hydreigon didn't touch the field. I didn't really think Hydreigon was going to be that great here. I think Hydreigon was actually my defogger because I wanted Torn to do like other things, but yeah. That is week 4. Next week we fight Peach Fuzz, and I think she has like a Mega T-Tar team, so that'll be very interesting to face. I honestly do not like facing Mega T-Tar. That thing just hits so friggin' hard. But we'll figure it out. We got this. I will see you guys next week.